Yes.
Hadi almost messed up this episode. Just saying.
Oh,
Hadi
get
has
out
been
of here.
Yeah, we're
Hadi's
starting
been
at
late.
8:30 because of Hadi.
Hadi's been late to every episode, and we're going to
You should just
replace
tell
him.
him
If
In the morning.
7:30.
we did, we told him 7, and he was still late. We should just figure out who we would replace him with if he's late next time. You guys wanna like have that conversation, Gabby? Any
Yeah, like a
suggestions, Andrew?
sock puppet.
Sock puppet would be better because it'd be on time. Could be your left hand or right hand. Okay, Gabby.
That's a great idea.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Hadi,
Yeah.
who should replace you, Hadi? Why don't you help us out here?
I think sock puppet is a great idea. Like a sock puppet that acts like a restaurant owner who thinks it owns a restaurant. Give it a personality, a life, kids.
Okay, what I'm hearing is
Kids.
he's recommending we do a restaurant owner instead of him.
Oh, that's a great
Okay.
idea too. Just think about that.
All right. How's everyone's weekend? What'd you guys do?
Got married.
It was a
Got
beautiful
married
wedding.
this past Sunday.
It was a
Thanks.
beautiful
Yeah.
wedding. Andrew and I were
So
there.
I
Why
I
did you
did all
invite
the
Gabby?
decor.
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's a good question. We hit the 120 mark
Whoa.
pretty quickly.
Whoa, quickly. You're telling me there's 124 people more important than Gabby? I can't find 5 in Lunchbox. Wow. Yikes.
She had like 100 people on
Andrew,
her side alone.
Andrew, you would have invited Gabby to your wedding, right?
I haven't invited anybody to my wedding yet.
But you would have
Oh,
if you
just got the
invited
venue.
her. But if there was a list, you'd invite her, right?
2 years from now.
Okay, and with that, let's go ahead and get started. We have some incredible topics for you all. Just a reminder for anyone who's new, anyone who's brand new, this is a podcast by restaurant people. All of us are restaurant people. Go to episode 1 to see what's our restaurant background if you need to, and for restaurant people, right? We're creating this for restaurant operators. So that's what this is. All right. With that,
Tube socks, boy, about to pop the lunchbox. Tube socks, boy, about to pop the lunchbox. Tube socks, boy, about to pop the lunchbox.
Back to my roots, beats of the broken hearted. Wake up, alarm is on. It's just getting started for the artist. No trolley, I get it right from the source.
All right. I don't want to break Matthew McConaughey. Andrew, next topic's yours.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the McGold card. I don't know if y'all have heard about it. It's something that Starbucks is rolling out and basically gives folks a free McDonald's for life. So this is something that was previously rumored that Warren Buffett and Bill Gates had access to, but essentially it's just a gold card that one person has the opportunity to win it. I think they're doing, if you order from the app between December 5th to December 25th, you get an opportunity and a chance to win, and it's going to give it to like one person and like 3 other folks, 3 other friends, whatever it might be. It's pretty wild. I mean, part of me thinks and wonders, like, is Starbucks like one of the only restaurants that has the clout maybe to accomplish this, for it to be valuable enough, or maybe like Starbucks as well too, or something like that. But like the frequency and recency of everything, but also like it's just another example of like exclusivity growing as a tool, continue to grow as a tool that marketers in the restaurant industry are using. Exclusivity towards menu items, exclusivity towards discounts, towards promotions, whatever it might be. McDonald's is really going and done a lot of virality this past year with the Pokemon cards, with the adult Happy Meals, and all that kind of stuff. And so this is like them continuing on their. I think they're really going churning this out. But everything that has happened with McDonald's has happened, a lot of it within the past like year or so, after they launched their loyalty program. And since they've launched that loyalty program, they've gotten like 26 million plus users signed up for that loyalty program, which is it's a pretty large number. I mean, it's like coming up there with like Panera was like 40 plus million and stuff like that, right? And so the sales that they've seen and the growth in sales that they've seen over the past year since launching this loyalty program, it's increased like user frequency over like around 10% since the past year. And so and 2 billion, I know I was looking at some numbers that they had 2 billion in sales in Q1, and it's been growing consistently. So with this and looking at this McGold card, I think if you look at the kind of the lifetime value of that is probably much lower than than all the money that they're going to be making of people just trying to enter and win in this. And it's like kind of like bringing back the vibes of the McDonald's Monopoly game as well too, but also like thinking about the this as a loyalty mechanism, and like what other restaurants could potentially go and do this. I mean, like Starbucks historically, a lot of stuff on their menu is very cheap, but you think about like coffee shops, like let's say somebody could win like a gold card for Starbucks and just get free unlimited coffee for life and whatnot. I think that there's a big opportunity for other folks in the restaurant industry to potentially latch onto this, or maybe there isn't. Maybe there isn't. That's interesting to hear from y'all. Is that like maybe this is something that only Starbucks has like the clout to accomplish, and if other folks did gold cards, like it would kind of fizzle out. So I wanted to get your thoughts. And if there's a restaurant that you could get a gold card from, what would it be? Maybe like Taco Bell, right? Taco Bell gold card.
You're Taco Bell?
Yeah, easily.
Okay, you're Taco Bell. What about you, Gabby?
I'd probably do Stickies.
Stickies.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Stickies. So that's a good one.
Wow. Hadi, you're muted. Our first podcast mute.
Oh no.
Caught on tape.
Do I have to?
Keeping
Can it
that.
be the same? Can it be the same one? Can it be Stickies
Yeah.
for me too? Okay, Stickies finger joint, not
Yeah.
Stickies rib house. Stickies
Yeah.
finger joint.
Oh yeah, finger
Yeah.
joint.
Stickies finger joint. Okay, all right. Way
Oh,
to call
finger
out
joint.
the other one.
Both great restaurants.
Both
They're
great
both great.
restaurants.
Both great restaurants.
I would do.
Yeah.
I'll do rib house, or I'll do a card to all lunchbox logos. Can I cheat,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Andrew?
That's a good one.
Yeah, a card that allows me to eat at all lunchbox logos. Obviously, one meal a day only. That way, I'm not abusing all our brands. But I feel like I should have that, or I feel like we should have that. We work like we're tired, guys. We work really hard. Stickies, Rib House, and Stickies. So those are our choices, Andrew.
Because I mean, like you think about all of this, like exclusivity. I mean, like that's where people really like dive in with these NFTs and whatnot for restaurants. Like they're really trying to dive into like this idea and this concept of exclusivity. I think secret menus, just in general, we're going to see a lot more of that coming up from all of this. Because I think that it's just the idea of your guests and your loyal guests being in the know, or having that, like flashing that gold card. Whoever gets it, the one person, well, 4 people will end up getting it. I bet this is going to be, it's a status of a lifetime.
Yeah, I
don't-
think there is 2 components to it that I'm really excited by, which is exclusivity and on the other side, creating this loyalty. Because if you look at like In-N-Out Burger, they have a secret menu item, right? They have a secret menu item, and everyone knows about it. It's not that exclusive, but everyone knows about it. If you know, you know, right? Which is very exciting for In-N-House to have built that. And then there's like scarcity itself, which is there's only few of them that will give out. They don't cost as much because people are not going to come here to eat every day. Humans just don't do that. But except you, Andrew. Besides you, I don't think people will do that. So yeah, I think this is really, really cool.
Not to mix last week's topics, but why didn't McDonald's make this an NFT?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that same question. It's like, what really is the difference here?
I think it's they were really trying to tie into this physical aspect of a card, and this kind of the idea of what was been rumored about them for a while, or like folks, like I was saying, like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates having Starbucks gold cards. I think they've been really tying into a lot of physical things, like I mentioned, physical Pokemon cards, physical Happy Meal. I mean, everything about Lunchbox. Yeah, you think about Happy Meals and whatnot, and the toys that come with it. They try to like give you physical things that people end up keeping. I know I got like a box of Happy Meal toys that are still in the packaging. My mom's like, oh, they're collectible. They're gonna be worth something someday. And so I think that this is tying further into that for McDonald's.
Can I just complain about NFT a little bit before? I think this is the perfect segue to complain about NFT, which is, and I don't know who was complaining about it, but it needs to solve a real problem, right? It needs to solve a real problem. I think it will. I think crypto and NFT and Web3 will, but it's not right now. Right now, is it better than my Chase app? You guys have Zelle? Who here has Zelle? You have Zelle? You have Zelle? You guys have do you guys know your your Zelle email address? Do you know your crypto address so I can send you money? You don't remember it? It's not easy for you to remember. Also, I have fees. The fees are higher when I send you via those wallets right now. The gas fees are higher than if I did it via Zelle on Chase, right? So I think these things need to solve a real problem before they can have a place in our world. And I think the point of this entire campaign is something between a Pokemon card and your Amex Black. It's somewhere in between the two, right? And it's physical. It's in your wallet. You can show it. It shows that you're a super fan. And I think all those things matter more to someone who wants to own it than having it on as an image, right? So I think that's how it feels when you hold your metallic Amex, or at least the first time. Then maybe you get over it. I think that's why it makes more sense. If I was a marketer there, I would have wanted to do it with a physical object as well. And I think this is, again, status, scarcity, exclusivity, all of it combined. It's like the watch in the bag market, right? It's very much they're creating artificial exclusivity so people can go ahead and remember why they're a big fan of this brand. So that's my reason why it's not an NFT.
Yeah, and also they're tying it back to like merch drops that they're doing right now as well too, and so there's multiple merch drops. So you see like the physicality of everything is really going and being harped on. I mean, we're coming up to like the holiday season. What better gift if you win this gold card and you can give 3 of them to other people? What better gift? I mean, yeah, honestly, even if you don't even like McDonald's, like. That's a good deal to get a gold card.
Yeah, I agree that the actual like physical presence of the gift makes a big difference, but I'm wondering if we could somehow make that experience better on like a mobile app. So like if you have an NFT, maybe you should consider displaying it on like your mobile app or on your online ordering platform so that you can have a better experience, not like, oh, I have to go on this app and I have to take out this NFT and I have to remember my password. So if somehow we can have restaurants have a seamless experience with like the NFT and their online ordering platform, that could be really helpful.
But like incredible design, because when it's physical, it's the material and design. It's the material and the design. But if it was digital, just all you have is incredible design, and it's on your wallet, right? You can add your ticket for a flight to your wallet. How about these cards for these restaurants done really well and added to the wallet? What about the tech people? Can we do that?
Yeah, I would say that the part that McDonald's would lose out on right now is just like general availability or like knowledge of the folks who's like going and like purchasing all this. Like, yeah, could it be digitized? Could it be in the wallet? Yes, but maybe the target market that they're trying to capture is a little bit further out, like, or is a little bit more expansive than just the folks that are potentially knowledgeable of how to set up a wallet, NFTs, and all that kind of stuff. Or even, I mean, like you have to order using the app. And potentially this could be tying into maybe folks that like they historically aren't using apps, historically don't use apps just in general when they order online. And so this is just like a step to encourage them to be like, oh, order online. Like, it's actually better. You don't have to go through the drive-thru to go to order in store. I think there's a lot of stuff that McDonald's is doing with drive-thrus. And so, yeah, I think the idea is, if you try to compare it and try to understand, like, why did they not do this digitally? Why did they do this to a physical card? I think potentially it could be to convert those folks that historically don't live digitally.
But the physical card could be moved on to somebody else too, right? Like someone else can get it. So they might be assuming that people are going to try to sell the thing if they get it, and that's going to create additional marketing buzz as well, right? I don't know. Seems really interesting. Again, I thought they could have made it an NFT, but I think it's a good way to like relive that.
Weren't you
McDonald's
hating on
monopoly.
NFT last week? Weren't you like really hating on NFT last week?
I know, that's
Or am
why
I
I
making
started
this
the
up?
pot. That's why I started the pot when it comes
This
to
guy,
like why they did
he's
do
just
that.
a contrarian. He just whatever someone says, he just wants to suggest the opposite. A pain. With that topic, we have one more McDonald's topic. Gabby, this one's from you, right? McDonald's is testing a new drive-through concept in Texas. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I thought this was really interesting. So they started this new order ahead concept, but like they specifically wanted to test the new drive-through, and I think it's a number of reasons like why they started this. So we talked a little bit about trouble attracting workers, right? So this is kind of their way to say, okay, we're short on labor. Let's try to find a new tactic. Let's try to see what else we could do. And so then I think the other thing is the experience of the drive-through. So I think the way that they set it up was very, very interesting. I can actually share my screen so I could show you guys the video. The way that they kind of have it is just, you straight up just go in. Doesn't seem like there's any staff that you could have interaction with. You just simply have an interaction with the pocket kiosk, which is something that, or the kiosk, which we talked about before. And so if you want, you could kind of drive in, pick up your order. It doesn't seem like you're interacting with any staff at all, which is really, really interesting.
Wait, that's a
Yeah, like
robot?
literally,
It's like a robot arm?
yeah, like literally,
Who's
you
that?
see, you don't really have any interaction with any staff, which is not really something that, I've seen too much before, because usually when I go through a drive-through, I have to interact with some staff in order to get my order. But you see here, like, they just literally have the bag just come out like this. So just thought it was really interesting. And like how they're really kind of looking for this staffless concept altogether, and it kind of like seems like it's working, or it could work. So curious to hear what you guys think about that. Like, does the complete absence of staff, what will that do for a restaurant? Because I know for me, like at least if I'm ordering at Starbucks and I'm driving through, I get to interact with someone. I could say, hey, like, my order is a little complicated. I like maybe, X amount of pumps on my Starbucks, and like I maybe want like half whipped cream or something like that. So how would that how do you guys think that interaction with the customer, and a McDonald's, for example, would change based off this kind of model? And maybe if it's like something that we think would be maybe potentially even better in terms of just timing perspective, because they get their order faster.
First of all, if you are one of those people who has that kind of specification, you can make it at home. That's my first observation. Second is, I'm so happy all those pranksters who make YouTube prank videos, who go up to the cashier and do pranks. I'm happy they all lost their job. Fuck them. All right. So that's another group I would like to go after. The third group I would like to go after is these labor unions who's trying to unionize restaurants, and at the end or middle of a pandemic, right? They're trying to do it at Starbucks. They're trying to do it at all these other companies. I think it's nuts. I think it's nuts because restaurant average hourly is around $22 right now in the country. 22 blended, right? So I think a combination of everything that's happening, including the shutdown and how long it lasted, including the six figures in restaurants that have closed for good, including 500,000 less labor in our space right now, same time compared to last time in pandemic versus now, we have 500,000 less people working in this space. All of it combined, how long can a restaurant uh, what else can a restaurateur take, right? It's just like we're piling on to them more and more and more already in a business that was thin margin to begin with. This was a tough business before the pandemic. This was a shitty business before the pandemic. The only reason people do it is for the love of food and community and entrepreneurship, right? So I think this is a response to all the FUs we've been giving restaurateurs. And I think it's one that is never going to like fully replace humans, but support a restaurant that does not have enough labor. Because who wants to work in this space, right? There's so many other gig jobs. Why would you want to work in a restaurant, especially when they were shut down for so long? So that's my response. But is that how you offer your coffee, Gabby?
No, I drink tea.
Okay, just
As
curious.
Hadi would say,
Okay,
swamp
you don't even
water.
drink coffee.
Oh,
Swamp
fancy.
water. Cool.
That's it looks like an ecosystem. You ever see those terrariums? With, to me, it just seems it's a little too cold. You know, there's just something about that drive-through worker's indifference and passing me my order that I actually do quite enjoy. You know, and I enjoy going there. I enjoy leaving a tip, even though they might not ask you to. Because that's part of the interaction. So I think fast casuals that are chains are going to invest into automation, and they have a get out of jail free card right now because people are not applying. People don't want
Yeah,
to be long term.
but McDonald's is not carbone. All right, like you're
Yeah.
not
Oh,
sitting
of course.
down and
No,
you're
no.
like,
So
you're making me my
here's
Caesar salad table side.
No,
Here-
I
here's
think it's going
the
to become a premium. I think service is going to become a premium. I think eventually as
I don't think service needs to be. I don't think someone needing to take a frozen patty, put it on a grill for X seconds, and put it inside a bun and give it to you is going to need anything premium. I think you just want if you're driving through, that's a version of off premise. That's like ordering from home. And there's a lot of things you'll get that is discounted that you are fine with discounting, right? If you go ahead and try to sign up for the experience. You don't care who's making your Chipotle. You don't care if they're
yeah.
nice. You don't care. All you care is it's accurate, right? Everything you ask for is what is in there and it's consistent.
Right. McDonald's just comes from the perspective of like cost. Always, their dollar menu is like being consistent and like their ability to execute on that and like to maintain that kind of that value menu is going to be important given inflation, given everything that's going on. They have to go and figure out new ways to, like when we're ordering online. Like how often do we care how many people like interacted with the food that we're receiving, or whether or not this burger that I'm eating right now was flipped by a human or by a robot, or whether it was like the delivery driver was a person or not. Like we're not like thinking about that kind of stuff very often. I think that this is just continuing. Like one part of it is it's a response to changing costs in the industry and rising costs, but I think the other response is like they're testing the waters. They're really poking it and say like, how far can we take this to like where people still don't care? Like, like let's get rid of all the staff. Let's get rid of all like, I don't even want a person handing it to you. Like, let's just have a little robot thing, just wheel it out to you. Right. So they're really testing the waters to see how far. I mean, like Panera is rolling, like, they rolled out for 2 stores in New York, a drive-through that is, like the voice is all AI generated, all AI just talking to you and saying, what would you like? And, and like, you could just talk to it and you say like, I would like extra this. You can do full customizations and stuff like that in the drive-through. And so they're testing that out as well too. And if that goes well, I bet that they're going to start to expand that out. Because like I think what Nabil mentioned is true, is that people care about accuracy a lot of these places more than anything, and I think that like if you're going to a fine dining or a sit down restaurant, that maybe you're going to be caring more about the service and how that's all operated there. But like I think that for McDonald's, they're just trying to maintain their prices and maintain their costs and make it so
Can I just say,
attractive to users.
No one wants to flip a burger. I've not met anyone who said, I'm 6-year-old, my dream is to go ahead and get old and flip a burger. So it's not like they want to do it anyways. I think as we replace jobs that people don't want and we don't care about, they will get better jobs. Hopefully, not in that order. Hopefully better jobs are there and they're leaving for that spaces. And it seems like 500,000 people have. And so now we have to replace them with automation. This is Hadi's idea of service. Can I just show you guys, since we're picking on him a little bit? This is Hadi's idea of service. Ready? This is how he wants his Coke. This is how he wants his Coca-Cola.
Oh, this is a place in New York. They had the syrup and then they had the soda separately. They kind of mix it.
I heard about this. Yeah.
This.
It's part of the. No, look, I think.
Hold up. Hold up. This is how Hadi wants his Coke made. Hadi wants better service. This is how he wants his Coke.
Specifically that man, because it looks like he's a Jets fan too. Is he a Jets fan? I know.
Look at that.
Does look tasty.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
oops. Our show notes.
Look, what I'm saying is that by McDonald's doing this and more fast casuals adopting it, it's going to make service more premium. Like other restaurants that offer service.
You don't even go out to eat, bro. You don't even go out.
Well, I think this could help that. So let's say you go to McDonald's and you're an extra sauce person, and you're like, I always get extra sauce. Now the next time you come, they'll take a note of that and they'll be like, oh, okay, you got extra chicken nuggets. I know you usually get extra sauce. Here's some extra sauce for you. And all of a sudden you feel special, right? Whereas like if you go somewhere and you order, that person that served you is not necessarily going to be there and remember. So I think if anything, this could maybe be more powerful from a customer experience standpoint, because you'll have that ability for data, and you'll have the restaurant to be like, okay, I know they like extra sauce. I know they're picky. This is what I know that they like. We have the notes. Let's give them what they want.
All right, we're ready for our next topic. All right, guys, I have a game for you guys. We do games at all of these because, I want the audience to better get to know you guys.
Mhm.
All right, today's going to be simple. No winners. Last one, the winner was Andrew. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yes, I haven't cashed in on my favor yet.
You haven't. You haven't cashed in on your favors. Okay, cool. All right, I have games. I have a game for you guys. I have 10 questions, and I just want you guys to vote. Right? We have an incredible graphics person who will set score. We just want to vote on a couple of things. There's some controversial questions I have, and I just need you guys to pick a side so the audience member knows where this podcast stands. Actually, I'll vote as well. So if we pick, let's say, for something, Popeyes is now the choice of this podcast until the next year when we do this again. Ready? Okay, good. I have 10 questions. The game is this or that. It's a this or that game. Okay. All right. First question. This podcast's favorite burger, is it McDonald's or Wendy's? Pick one.
McDonald's.
Wendy's.
McDonald's. Wendy's.
McDonald's.
I say McDonald's too. All right. McDonald's
For
are a
what?
clear winner. Woo!
Not clear. Get out of here.
Wait, 3-1.
Frozen patties.
What do you? Okay. All right. I'll not ask you about the election then. This is how democracy works, Andrew. Gosh. KFC or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
KFC.
Popeyes,
Okay,
probably.
Popeyes. I'm KFC. 2 for 2. We have no winner. We're tied. Who said KFC?
Me.
Some
Yeah, it's better.
KFC? Yeah, with some
Much better.
coleslaw and some mashed
Yeah.
potato all in the same bite? Like,
Yeah, much
what
better.
is he talking about? All right. Next one. American wings or Korean wings?
Korean.
Korean. Okay.
American wings.
Korean.
American
some-
for Andrew.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, for me it's Korean too. All right, Korean is the wing of choice for this podcast. All right, another Popeyes question: Chick-fil-A versus Popeyes.
Chick-fil-A.
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 Popeyes.
Yeah, the
Popeyes.
nuggets.
Popeyes. Oh, the nuggets are trash.
Chick-fil-A,
The nuggets.
clear winner.
Chick-fil-A's. It's.
Chick-fil-A is the winner. I thought that would be unanimous, Hadi. I thought that would be
No.
unanimous. All right, New York pizza or deep dish pizza?
New
York. What?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this. Let's get into this for a second. Deep dish is a prank.
Hadi, if you say
that
deep
I
dish, I'm just gonna leave right now.
Yeah.
No, it's New York for me too. But
I'm never gonna
I'm
eat pizza with you
convinced-
again.
I'm convinced that deep dish is a prank that Chicago people play on outsiders to say,
Okay.
"Hey, look at that idiot ordering that prank item off our menu," because it can't be real. It's a pie.
Yeah.
It's not pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, listen, I'm voting also New York pizza, but I really enjoy deep dish pizza. It's really I
I mean,
really
it's
enjoy.
whatever. It's a
Yeah.
casserole.
Andrew's like, "It's whatever." You don't know. Andrew's like, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, ketchup on fries or on the side? On fries or on
On
the side?
fries. On.
Side.
On
Side for Andrew.
On the
Side for Hadi.
Yeah.
All right, side it is. Side it is.
Wait,
All right.
Nabil, what is it for you?
Side.
On the side?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm not a sociopath, Gabby. Technology questions: Sweet Green app or Domino's app?
Domino's.
Sweet
app.
Green app or Domino's app? Okay, Andrew says Domino's.
Sweet green.
Sweet Green for Gabby.
Oh man. Yeah, sweet cream for me too. Got to say.
Yeah, Sweet Green
Close.
for me too.
No, Domino's. You get the rewards are so easy to find, and like you can get so many things. I mean, I use the Domino's app often. I guess that's a.
Listen, I love Domino's. I love their buffalo wings actually, and I love their meaty pizza extravaganza. But that app is a first mover, but a dinosaur.
Functional.
I wonder
It's
why they
functional.
don't update it. Can we ask
But
our viewers
listen,
that?
that's like saying Salesforce is functional. All right, that's like saying Salesforce is functional. Like, yeah, it's functional, but like I just have to do a 2-hour course before I use the Domino's app. Chipotle or Taco Bell? Favorite
Chipotle.
Mexican fast food? Chipotle for Gabby.
Come on.
It's
I don't even have to
Tex-Mex,
answer
but-
this one. It's Taco Bell.
Andrew is a Taco Bell.
I
Taco
talked
Bell.
so much smack about Chipotle last time as well too.
Yes,
the
we'll
damn
never have them as a
quesadillas.
client thanks to you. Hadi.
Taco Bell for sure.
Taco Bell. Okay, cool. I don't care about either of them. You know, they just
Wow,
both
you
are.
got to
Yeah,
pick
I don't care.
between one of the
I
two.
don't pick. I don't. I can't. I don't. I can't. I abstain. All right, they both are like whatever to me. I'm
Which one
sorry,
has
my
better
palate
You
flavor
is
to
can.
more
you?
developed.
Which one has more flavor to you?
Uh, Flavor. I mean, I eat Chipotle if I eat either of them, but not by
Exactly.
choice,
There's the
by
answer.
All right,
force.
all right, there
Okay,
we go.
two more questions. Is it a hero or is it a sub?
It depends on the region because there's hoagies, there's wedges, there's like so many different names
We're
for
not
it.
doing. We're not doing all the
If
sub
you're in New
names.
York, it's a hero.
Okay, Andrew calls it a hero. Gabby,
I call it a hero too.
you call it a hero.
Hero as well. Yeah.
Hadi. Yeah, hero. Yeah. If you
Hero.
don't call it a hero,
But
you are
historically, you
not
kind
a
of think
good
about a
human.
hero being like also like the 6 foot long ones, you know, that that you go and the catered parties with and stuff like
This
that
is a
too.
PG-13 show. All right, last question. Fold your pizza or don't fold it? Last question. Real New
Fold.
Yorkers know.
Fold.
Fold.
Obviously.
Fold. Fold. Yes. Those last two questions are interview questions here at Lunchbox. If you don't agree with us, we don't hire you. We don't have to be inclusive when it comes to food. We can be inclusive in other areas. So that's how we go ahead and find the non-New Yorkers and weed them out. All right. Thank you for playing that game, guys. We have a joint topic. Why don't you kick us off, Hadi?
Historically, when you go to a restaurant, every time if you're getting great service, you want to leave a tip. Even fast casuals like Chipotle or somebody will ask you to tip, right? But a topic that's been gaining momentum over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, obviously fueled by the pandemic, is do you tip or do you not tip? And if you tip, how much do you tip? Because other countries that are not the U.S., it's normal to actually not leave a tip. Actually, you're encouraged not to because it's part of their wages. In the United States, majority of their, a good chunk of their wages that you make day in and day out as a restaurant server, right? Especially if it's a service oriented restaurant, a lot of your wages are carried by tips, right? So what they do is instead of paying the hourly minimum, they'll pay you maybe half of that, or like $8 or $10, right? And they'll say that you'll make the rest up by tips, right? Obviously, they get paid some in cash, which is we like that as well. More money in the restaurateur's pocket, the restaurateur and server's pocket. But over 60% of people, and this is from a survey where 1,000 people were surveyed, and they were asked a lot of questions about how they tip, who they are, and what they kind of leave behind. And out of those people, 60% said that they wanted to do away with tipping altogether, right? Which starts a lot of really, really good and interesting conversations about who are the best tippers in the United States. Do we need tipping? Can we just increase the prices so everybody can just feel like, hey, I don't need to leave tips, and it's in the menu, and the staff can make sure, maybe that $22 average to bill right now, it's probably carried a lot by tips as well. The average that you mentioned across the United States. So that's a conversation that I wanted to open up, and then over time I want to kind of educate us in a more conversational way of like what's really out there in terms of tipping as well, right? I guess to start off, who do you guys think is the best tipper? Which generation do you guys think
I
is the
think
best
between the
tipper
four of us, I
compared to
tip the
everything?
best. I know, I'm kidding.
No, like generation, like Gen Z, millennial.
I think
Well, I don't think that like it's being in some part of me. I feel like it's not controlled by the generations anymore. So we have like the technology layer in between all of it. So I kind of want to touch on a point here of like in this topic that a lot of people are talking about called tipflation, tip invasion, whatever it might be. You're seeing it all over like social media as well too. Tons of jokes being made about it. It's like every kind of action now or like any interaction with the POS all of a sudden suddenly asks you for like a tip. And like in restaurants, it makes total sense when you think about servers, bartenders, etc. Right? It's a
That's
service industry. But like I was at a concert this past weekend, and at the merch table, somebody like when we bought this sweater, they literally just turned around, picked up the sweater, handed it to me, and then they prompted for tip, and I was like, what happened here? Like this is not an interaction that is tippable.
Yeah.
I think that before, like I think that maybe when we think about generations and all that, like the idea before with tips is like we were thinking about like exceptional service, and you're trying to and like in some part ways like you're because there's like a person involved with this, like you're showing like a kind of like an appreciation for like that this is like, you know, being done by a human, right? Also too,
Did you
but
tip?
also just exceptional service as well. But like when you think about it now, there's so much automation in all of these things that you're wondering, like, what am I really tipping for? Like, who is this tip going to? Like when I tip that merch table person, is it going, that's like a staff member of like the stadium. It's not like a staff member of like the band or anything like that. It's like, who is this going to? What is it going towards? Like eventually at the doctor's office, will I have to tip there too? Like how far does this continue to go down that hole? And I think that this tip situation that's happening with the POSs and whatnot, like there's like always prompting this, like it's going to have a negative impact on the restaurants. And this is also what I'm reading out there as well too, is that like, you know, when people are going to just get overwhelmed by like how much tipping is going to be happening there. Even like also like there's like some restaurants like, you know, by default it'll have like 30% like highlighted, like it just keeps like moving up. It used to be like 15% was the norm, then 20% the norm. And so like people are just like I think that the question you beg here, like you're asking here, is like, do people, you know, like should tipping be the norm? Should, you know, would people rather just pay like more for like the food that they're ordering rather than doing a tip at the end of all of it? I think they bring a lot of questions, and there's a lot of psychological things that are happening here where like automation is potentially going to cause people to kind of like start to step back a little bit and say like they're going to really start thinking about the kind of tips that they're giving for stuff.
So
That's
did
my
you
take
tip
on
or
it.
did you not tip for your merch? Just really quickly.
Oh, Amanda bought it. She tipped it. She was like,
She
because there was
tipped.
no, they
So
don't even have the $0 option on the screen. You have to go
yes.
custom and type in a zero. Like that, they know what they're doing here. They know what they're
So
doing
so
here.
so you and Amanda are part of the 51% that, according to this study, were actually convinced to tip by being prompted by an iPad or
But
digital
now we're angry.
display.
Now I'm
No,
angry
they're
and talking
forced.
about it. So I
They
think I'm
were
going to
forced to
change it.
tip.
Now I'm going to
I
be
think.
Yeah.
changing it.
Listen, who taught us how to wear our tie, right? Either it was our parents or a friend, and for the next generation, it's YouTube, right? In fact, I learned a lot of things on YouTube, like how to tie my tie, right? What is the difference between an Oxford versus a Derby, right? A lot of things your dad was supposed to teach you, you're supposed to, like, we learn on YouTube, right? And I think the next generation is UI UX, right? I think when you go to the Uber Eats app and you order food, what is the baseline for tipping? It's 15%. I think it's 20%. I think it's 15 or 20%, most likely 20. That's the base. Is that what we were thought to tip for delivery? Right? No, it was not, right? It's closer to 10, right? The education is, hey, it's closer to 10% or $10 or $5 to $10, closer to 10%. But the system is educating a whole new generation that is 20% base. So now what is supposed to be a dine-in tip, a dine-in good job tip is 20%, which is you came to me when I needed to, you asked me, you upsold me, you were nice to me, you educated me about the history of the restaurant, you walked me to the fucking bathroom, right? All of that is 20%. Now we're saying if you deliver the food, it's also 20%. I think the problem, as always, is fucking technology. It's a bunch of fucking nerds who are sitting in Silicon Valley who don't know anything, who are fucking all like 300K paid engineers, these fucking losers, and their project managers who get paid even more so than those losers get together and say, how do we take care of people? Let's not pay them, but let's make sure that the consumer is paying them more. Let's not actually have a system where we're not robbing restaurants 30% and giving any of it to the driver properly. Let's make sure the end consumer does it. How do we do it? Let's change the UI UX to go ahead and make sure the base is 20%, right? So I think that's the problem. And I think the problem is, our parents are no longer in the picture to educate us about all the nitty gritties, as they're not supposed to be. That's the point of tech. And now we're getting educated by technology, and the education is, this is normal. You didn't know? We knew in Silicon Valley, right? On our 8 sleep mattress and our athletic greens every morning and our Aura ring and all the other shitty Silicon Valley things we do. We're out of touch, but let us tell you how you can help people. Be kind, right? Hashtag. So that's my rant on why Tipflation is happening, because tech people fucking suck. I'm
Yeah,
not a tech
well,
person, by the way.
food. So the top three tip workers to be, according to again this study, is first it's restaurant with table service. So I think you'll be happy to discover your sweetheart your sweetheart workers are at the top, but food delivery workers have jumped to second now. So Uber Eats, DoorDash, they've jumped to second now, which is pretty close. It's getting pretty. They're right next to what should be the most like tip service. And number three is actually hairstylists and barbers.
That's a good,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
That has been a tipping culture for a long time.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel good about
Valet.
tipping my barber. I'll just say that.
I personally,
Do you
He
tip your barber extra for the eyebrow thing you do?
Oh, I do that myself. I tip him for doing a good job despite being inebriated at sometimes when I go on Friday and Saturday. He always just turns me around. I can't see it. Then he's like drinking, he's dancing, doing the bachata. Then he turns me around and it looks decent. So that's what the tip is for.
Doesn't sound like my barber. Gabby?
I would say I personally tip a lot just because I was a waitress at some point, and so I know how hard it is to be like a restaurant worker. But one of the things I noticed when it came to like the pandemic and delivery, and the reason I think this is spiking up is because I think that delivery workers are thinking about how do I make the delivery experience better for the consumer. So like one of the things that I noticed recently, the app you can choose whether you want it to be left at the door, whether you want it to be handed to you. And so I usually just say just leave it at the door. But I think some delivery workers take an extra step. They wait for you to actually come out, get your food, and then they'll leave. And I personally like really appreciate that. I'm like, wow, this person could have just like took another session, but he decided to stay with me and make sure I got my food. I think he went above and beyond, and I gave him extra tip. So I think little things like that, because obviously food gets stolen, especially if you're in New York City. Things like that have been ways that restaurant workers could say, okay, how can I go above and beyond? And so I actually think it's a good thing that we're able to, tip them, and they still have that, touch to the customer. Like, hey, I waited for your food.
I wonder, is that our expectations lowering though? I guess in some ways, like you think about like what it was like I ordered pizza back in the day. Pizza delivery guy, he was there at the door, handing me my pizza. I gave him $5 or whatever it is. I'm wondering if is there
The $5,
our lowering expectations and what is a typical kind of experience maybe is also changing.
Yeah, but I think when you say leave it at the door, like you're basically saying, okay, like I don't care if it gets stolen or not. Like I choose for you to leave it at the door. You can leave, you could stay, whatever you want. I just want you to leave it at the door.
Can I just describe Andrew? When Andrew was tipping $5, he was being generous because they were getting paid hourly. They had a base pay from the restaurant. They were the restaurant staff. Now when they work for Grubhub, they don't get paid similarly. So I don't think the consumers understand how the person is getting paid. And if I think the consumers understood, they could do some simple math. And I think what Lunchbox needs to do is provide a article with clarity on what staff is getting paid and what we recommend they should get paid. Right? I think we need to do some education here. Like always, like our job is to educate the consumer and educate the restaurant space. I think we need to collect all the numbers and very clearly lay out what should a Grubhub driver get paid versus DoorDash, because they're not the same, right? I think this is an opportunity for us to continue to do some work here.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is you always want to incentivize any worker to go above and beyond. So if they're just getting paid like everyone else, they don't have an incentive to go above and beyond. So they don't get a promotion or like a salary raise.
Yeah, and Gabby, half the people that go to a Panera or Chipotle do not tip, and the best tippers out there today are actually baby boomers, which makes sense. They hold most of the cash and most of the wealth in the world. But out of all the generations, 86% of people consider themselves to be a good tipper, which is people think they're tipping well, but some are not. And Most people just want to do away with it altogether and just add it to wages. I personally, I think if I see, I think it's a way to like invite you in to spend, because if you see a $10 burger versus a 13, $15 burger, I don't know if you'll go into the restaurant, right? Maybe you'll be a shitty person and not tip, but at least you'll get a $10 burger. Maybe you can't afford it. That's the other. I don't know if it'll price out people. It always sucks.
Anything else we want to add here? Okay. All right, last topic, guys. Last topic of the day, and then we got to go to work. Hey, DoorDash had a massive layoff. They had to lay off around 7% of their workforce. That's 1,250 employees. Tony Shu obviously posted on their company blog, named two reasons. Number one was they were understaffed before the pandemic in 2020, and delivery grew. They had to go ahead and overhire, and this is course correction. That was the first reason. And the second reason was uncertainty of the e-commerce business and the looming recession. Right. Our friends at Bbot, which got acquired by DoorDash, almost 70% of the team was laid off. So they got impacted heavily. That's a great team there. Anyone would be lucky to hire those group. And we looked at some research, and we're like, does this mean that the delivery business is at risk? And we looked at numbers, and it doesn't seem like it. I'll give you two data, one from DoorDash and one from Uber. Uber reported in September 30 that their platform grew by 27% as demand skyrocketed and beat expectation. So that's Uber's last reporting, right? They grew that quarter 27%. Then we have Uber. Similarly, in third quarter, Uber said their revenue jumped 72% to 8.34 billion. That obviously is their hailing program and their auto takeout program, but both indicate that this is not a slowdown in delivery. I believe it's still the beginning. More than anything else, this is just a course correction, like all tech companies are course correcting. I think DoorDash has claimed that they're doing well and they're doing fine, and what I think their strategy is to be the everything store. They are doing reservations now. They are doing merchant benefits for restaurant employees. They're doing national shipping. They're doing reviews. They're doing restaurant financing, right? You can, if you're a restaurateur, you can go ahead and take money from them. They're the bank now, and you can pay them interest. DoorDash is evolving into an end-to-end platform for the restaurant industry. It doesn't seem like there's a slowdown in what they're building, but they just had this layoff. I think the team also doubled when they bought a company recently. I think it was Walt. Is it Walt or Yolt? Do you guys remember? I think I have it somewhere in my notes.
Might be Walt.
They bought a company out of Europe that doubled their size. So they claimed that there's a lot of redundancies as well. So why they had to go ahead and do this layoff. But obviously DoorDash is one of the biggest company in food tech, if not the biggest. And I just wanted to bring this up as a topic for us to all chat through and see what you guys wanted to add, whether it may be on the reduction, whether it may be all the end-to-end features they're launching.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is something we're seeing consistently in the industry. Mm-hmm. Seems like no company is not affected by this. Sounds like there's also, I think, the parts about course correction. There's a lot of context that's been provided here, and I think that the main thing is that how companies go and you think about product roadmaps and how they go and execute on those things, like given all these different changes. I think that's going to be important to see. So it's tough to make a call like immediately about it, but I think just time will show.
Mm-hmm. By the way, just to educate everyone, they are the largest of the three food delivery system. They have 59% of the market. Uber has 27 and Grubhub has 13. So those are the big threes.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's super impressive that Uber is not doing a reduction.
Yeah.
Well, obviously because their revenue grew, but good planning on their part. I don't know how they did it. Hats off to them. I think they're one of the few that might not be doing a reduction as we head towards a downturn, or in the downturn already. Actually, we should stop saying heading towards anything anymore. But it's really interesting. It's I see the empirical evidence that DoorDash is saying that their system's growing, that demand is growing, but at the same time at Lunchbox, I'm seeing pickup orders being higher than delivery orders. So is it growing for all segments equally? Like, is it growing for all households equally? Because some people just might order pickup because it's cheaper. Like those delivery fees are not cheap, like that, and then you have to tip somebody, which we just got into, right? So like, I don't know. Like they say it's growing, but everything from we're seeing in sentiment of like, well, people actually want to buy. Maybe they're talking about a different segment, but a little I'm a little skeptical, I guess. As like, is it growing? Do people want to pay more when a time when they have less?
I'm actually surprised that they didn't do it sooner. I
Yeah,
know that the acquisition
100%.
of like Bebot was some time ago, so it's not like it
A
was
year
recent.
ago.
Yeah, so it's not like it was recent. So I'm really surprised that they waited this long. I think every company is like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Like, do we do it now? And so I'm really surprised that they, you know, like I think everyone said here, like every company's going through it. Every
Mhm.
company's going through something like that. I'm honestly just surprised that they, waited this long.
For any trolls in the comments who will remind me that I had to do or we had to do a layoff in July, we did. But I think we were ahead of it. I think we did it before it became a reality or before Elon went and fired half of Twitter, which gave courage and kahunas to founders in Silicon Valley to go ahead and clean up their house as well. So thank you. You don't have to mention it. We're aware. Um, I think an important conversation I'll leave us with is um, what happens to the culture after you do something like that. We have experienced that at a small scale. It might be really old news now. We're smaller, we're stronger, we're better than ever. We've come together. We've had an offsite since. We've done a lot of things to bring people together. But what do you guys think they're experiencing as an organization? Because this is
I think
a big layoff.
I think I mean, personally, right? Like I've reached out to a lot of founders. I'm sure you did. You reached out to some of your peers before doing this, right? So you had to learn, like, hey, what is normal? What does normal look like? Things are crazy. What does normal look like? And they're like, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what normal looks like now. More from less, right? And now, if you go on blind and if you read it, like employees are reaching out to each other across the aisle in different companies. They're like, hey, what's your normal? They're like, oh, this is our normal. Like, oh, that seems very similar, right? And they're starting to draw similarities of like, hey, this is how it's going to be. Like, PIP culture will be, performance improvement plans will be a little bit more enforced because they're seeing it happen to their peers at companies. So I think just like we found a new normal as founders or people that run companies, right? It's I think we're going to see the same thing in employees. I think that they're going to self-correct and self-regulate through communities and tell each other what the new normals are. And people are going to be like, oh, okay, you know what? Compared to everybody else, I don't have it so bad anymore. I think that's going to adjust the working, hopefully adjust some of um, the work that people do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely difficult. It's really, really hard. And I think one of the things that we just I think at least for employees that I'm speaking with, they realize that it's happening everywhere. It's not like it's a company specific issue. So I think once they realize that and they realize that it's the market, that they feel a little, okay, things are gonna get better. Things are gonna be okay. Um, and so I think the other thing that's really important is continuously motivating, your employees and just saying, hey, um, look at the opportunity. Like this really hard decision that we had to do, but there is still a lot of opportunity here and show them how.
The lesson I learned this year is you don't have to be the most liked person in your company. That is not the role of the CEO or the founders or the management team. Your job is to go ahead and help as many people as possible. That is the people that work for you, and those are the people that are in the restaurant industry. Your job is to help as many as possible. And and what is not possible is to go ahead and help everyone, to bring everyone. And that is a really hard thing to swallow for me. It was hard to do what we did in July. it's hard to watch this happen at DoorDash. It's really hard to do this, but not doing this is worse for the industry, worse for the restaurant industry. And Lunchbox, our mission is to be a first mover. So I give us kudos to do what we did in July, so we don't have to go ahead and do this during the holidays. And I'm really excited for the restaurant industry that we are alive and we keep performing. But that's what I learned, which is, like, you're not going to be everyone's first invite to their wedding, and that's okay, right? You need to go ahead and do something much harder, which is do the hard things even when folks don't see it. I think that's the point of being a leader, not to just go ahead and coddle people and protect people from bad news. Because when you're protecting people from bad news and overdoing it, what you're not protecting them is from reality. And reality is saying, hey, you're not actually performing really well, and I think we're going to do something. Why don't I start helping you look at somewhere else? I think that is being a great leader. I think that is hard work. That is uncomfortable, and that's a lesson learned. So yeah, that's where we'll wrap up for today. Thank you, everyone. Do you guys wanna say anything before we wrap up?
I think this week's topic was great. Like we had a great set of topics of like from tipping to like the industry growing in some places, contracting in some other places. So I mean, for me, it was probably one of the better episodes of How Much I Could
Best
Learn.
of two.
Yeah.
Best of two.
The main thing is that we're seeing a lot of trends with the what's happening with the industry, and it sounds like I'm interested for all the other episodes and what we're going to talk about, because it's not like we're seeing from the last week to this week certain trends slow down. We're seeing them like ramp up and speed up. We're seeing topics about about labor shortages and inflation go and lead to topics like today we're talking about like automation in the drive-thrus or automation at the store level, or just tipflation, etc. So
Yeah, and I know we touched on layoffs, so I know some of you who may be listening to this may have been impacted. So if you are interested, please reach out. Would love to chat. High performers definitely get affected as well. So would love the opportunity to talk to anyone who's interested.
Amazing. Thank you, Gabby, for adding that. All right, thank you, everyone. That's a wrap. Bye.
Back to my roots, beats of the broken hearted. Wake up, alarm is on. It's just getting started for the artist. No trolley.